Hey there, YouTube. I hope this video finds you well. I am just trying to get myself back acquainted to making videos. It's been a really long time. I look at my YouTube and last video I made was in February, and I just think, wow, what a different world we live in, what a different place I'm in. That last video I was talking about just going after goals, setting new goals for my life and what my life would look like a year from now. And boy, had no idea what was coming. And that was actually the end of February. So I was really just, I think now, wow, I was probably like 2-3 weeks away from the whole mess of change and how everything has changed. Wow, just crazy. But I really don't know what I'm going to be doing. I feel like this channel is supposed to be something of like an outlet for myself. I will just say I have a very few people here with me, but if you have watched my videos before, then I am a believer. I believe in the Bible. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and he is very important to me. He is alive and well. I just read the scripture last night that if you're looking for him, he is not here. He is gone. I love that scripture so much, when the tombs rolled away. But anyway, I'm just trying to be obedient. I felt for the last few days that the Lord was saying, why don't you get back on? Why don't you start recording things? So that's what I'm going to do. I don't really have a huge plan. I don't really know what all I'm supposed to be sharing about, but I thought I would start with just sharing just continued success for my experience with the Court of Heaven. I share a video. If you want to go back through, I have a video. It's called Courts of Heaven Testimony. It shares a little bit more about how I've learned about the courts of heaven and the scripture, and I'm sure I'll go further into that as I enter into this new YouTube thing. But for just most recently, in this past year, I experienced a need to turn back to the courts of heaven and to pray and to focus on that, because right around that time, I recorded the last video in February of 2020. I was in the beginning of a whole new chapter in my life, which is not that crazy. My husband and I have been through these like small settled parts of life, but it's not unusual for us to be totally from one place, in one year, and a totally new place in the next year. So at that time, we had just found out. We were probably a month into learning that my husband was released from his job, and it was a very painful experience because it was very abrupt. It was not expected at all. There was a lot of corrupt plans against us, and so as I went through that experience, God had revealed this scripture to me in Proverbs 6:30-31. Men, do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry, but if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He should give all the substance of his house. And in other translations, it says he will use all of his house to repay the restitution from stealing. And when I first heard that scripture, it just spoke to me. In February, I remember standing on this platform in my house. My husband had said, well, we just got the call. We're not getting severance. We're not getting medical. We're not getting any help from the government. We're not getting, Medicaid, Medicare. We're not getting anything. And then on top of that, we were denied a tax refund. And when I heard that, something in my spirit just said, no, I'm not accepting that. That's not going to work for me. And I have used that over and over and over so many times. But that moment was like such a huge beginning place for me, because it was the first time that I felt like the authority, that God was giving me the authority to say no. Like, I'm not accepting this anymore. I'm not taking the enemy and just lying down and letting him take over and attack me anymore. So I followed this scripture. I said, no, I'm going to pray. I'm going to believe. I'm going to say, as crazy as it sounds, we will get what we are owed, and we'll get sevenfold. And long story short, we did. We definitely did. We got money that was owed to us. We got that tax refund. We got more than enough. Like, we had lost our income in February, and by the middle of March, we had it completely recovered in business that was in no way deserving of us. Like, God had taken a disaster, a very heartbreaking situation, and turned it completely around. And I believe because we were obedient. I believe because we stood firm on what we believe, that we didn't do anything wrong in the situation. And it's one of those stories that I look back now and I say, I wish I could go back to myself and stand beside myself and say, this is not the end. This is not how it's going to go down, because there was just so much evil, malicious intent in that story of people who were not following the Lord. I would even say there was evil upon them, that they were not thinking clearly, and they abused us and they took advantage of us. And lessons learned, red flags we avoided, so on and so forth. But we are in a much better place, and we're very happy in the life we have now. But a lot of pain to get to those truths, a lot of pain to get to those lessons learned. But I would say I'm a totally different person now, and I want to share that on this channel. If anything, I know that for sure. I want to share the value of seeking God, fighting for truth, fighting for His word to be visible in our lives, because I was a person before going through this situation where I had trouble to believe that prayers could be answered. I had trouble to believe that I had an influence in my life. What's God's will? How does it play into my life when we have free will? So that's a really important thing to me, and that's for sure something I'd love to share. And just even going further, I found a better description of this verse and understanding it. It's talking about restitution is another legal term involved in the court system. Restitution means to give back, make up, as far as compensation. Any wrongdoer, when proven guilty by the judge, must make restitution for the damage caused to the victim, either in monetary term or in just receiving back what was stolen from them. So I find that very unique and interesting, that the enemy would be called by God to return back not what he's stolen, but sevenfold. And even to the point where it says everything in their household, using his household to repay. And as you guys probably know, if you're watching this video, you've probably heard of the verse where it says that Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy in John 10:10. To steal, kill, and destroy. I mean, that's so common, but also that he's a lion, prying around, waiting to seek and devour. He doesn't make himself it obvious. He comes at us when we're not expecting it. I just heard another verse not too long ago about how he comes at night. He's waiting on us at night to take over. So we need to be aware. We need to be vigilant. We need to be prepared. We need to be seeking the Lord ahead of time, not waiting for it to come crashing down on us. But also take authority and fight when the enemy comes at us. Fight in prayer. Fight with Scripture, declare Scripture. That has been a huge thing for me as well. And I'm feeling that right now as I'm just fighting for healing in others. I feel like it's a call on my life right now to fight for others in healing. And so if you're watching this and you need healing, please let me know. I will be happy to pray for you. That's important to me. It's a heavy place to be in, a heavy position to be in right now, because it just seems like as soon as I open myself up to say, okay, Lord, I want to pray for others, I want to be thinking about others more, He gave me a lot to pray about for others. And I saw humanity. I saw decent people who are hurting. And now I'm not just learning to pray for others, I'm learning to take this burden, this compassion, and ask God to help me to pray for them, because it's a lot to handle. But it's also another way to grow closer to Him, because I'm having to trust Him in the outcome. I'm having to trust that I have to ask Him for the right words to say. But it's important to me. It's an honor, and I see God close to my heart. I see Him comforting me and being with me in these times. So that's kind of what I'm about. I have many different things I could speak on, but I'm going to wait and let the Lord share with me what He wants me to share. I hope this was a blessing. I hope this is something that you can use to benefit you. Those scriptures again, Proverbs 6:30-31. Do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry, but if he is found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house to do so, restitution and compensation for what he has stolen. And then also John 10:10, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Just what a season we're in. You know, I definitely feel it right now. Just this like heavy burden. So I am going to go and spend some time with the Lord in prayer, but please do let me know if this is something I can pray for you about as well.